Hello, and thank you for joining on the Whitelist first discussion of the Division. My name is Hoshaw, and with me today is Dentay.
Hello there.
For those of you who have somehow remained completely unaware, the Division comes out this Tuesday, March 8th. I don't know about you, Dentay, but I'm getting really damn excited for this game. The Division is starting to give me hope that Dentay and I will be able to escape the grasp that our abusive lover Destiny has on us. With this video, Dentay and I are going to summarize many of the important points going into the Division. This way all agents will be that much more prepared for when the game servers are fired up Tuesday morning. Our goal for the overall channel is to provide you with videos concerning not only the backstory of the Division, but also interesting gameplay, as well as tips that we believe will be useful. So Dentay, let's start off with the essentials. What should one know about the basic backstory of the new world that we're about to be going into?
From what we already know, the Division is set in New York a few weeks following the release of a weaponized smallpox virus on Black Friday. This virus soon spread across the country on banknotes, causing the United States government to collapse in just 5 days. You are a member of the Strategic Homeland Division, or the Division for short. This is a classified sleeper cell force of self-supported agents that lived out normal lives until they were activated. Division agents are ultimately the ones in charge of rebuilding New York and determining the cause of the virus outbreak. The Division was activated with Directive 51. Directive 51 is a real-world directive signed by President George W. Bush on May 4, 2007. This directive claims power to execute procedures for the continuity of the federal government in the event of a catastrophic emergency. The presidential directive says that when the president considers an emergency to have occurred, an enduring constitutional government comprising of a cooperative effort among the executive, legislative, and judicial branches of the federal government, coordinated by the president, will take the place of the nation's regular government. This ultimately means that agents of the Division report directly to the president. There are two waves that were activated as part of Directive 51. You are a part of the second wave. Not much is known about what happened with the first wave. Rumor is that there is either dead, captured, or just barely surviving below the radar. From there, you will begin the push to take back New York and build your base, developing your skills as you take back the city.
Alright, Dentay, so far it sounds pretty cool. In terms of gameplay, what can gamers expect from the Division?
The Division is an online open-world, cover-based third-person shooter with role-playing elements. We say role-playing elements because while the game calculates things like DPS and has other elements of role-playing games, the game has no strict classes that you would find in an RPG. The player is instead allowed to change their skills, talents, and weapons based on the situation or to better fit within a group. One of the main concerns people had coming in from the beta is that enemies were bullet sponges. This had to do with the RPG aspect of the game. Similar RPG games, such as Destiny, are able to get away with this because the enemies are aliens with futuristic technology, such as energy shields, that the player accepts without question. It is important to keep in mind that even though the Division is set in modern time with modern technology, to keep in line with the RPG style, the enemies have to be bullet sponges, even though it doesn't make logical sense for the setting. Those of you that have liked the cover-based systems of Gears of War, or more recently Ghost Recon Future Warfare, and other third-person cover-based shooters, will be used to the movement from cover to cover. The term that we would use to describe the system in the Division is realistic cover-based movement. You can parkour around and move smoothly between cover, but you don't have the snappy movements you would find in Gears of War.
Okay, Dentay, so you said that there are no strict classes in this game. So how does the Division compensate for that since this is an RPG?
The Division's RPG builds are based off of 3 trees: medical, security, and tech. From these trees, players can develop skills and talents that fit their playstyles. Skills are unlocked by developing certain parts of your base. This allows the player to develop skills they prefer to have immediately, but also lets them expand to other areas they would like in the future. These abilities are spread across 3 trees: medical, which includes a healing item such as a healing gun and first aid station; security, which has portable shield; and smart cover, which increases the strength of whatever cover you're hiding behind; and tech, which includes seeker mines and turrets. You can also equip 4 talents that can vary based on which skill tree you would like to specialize in. From what we have seen, these specialties include close quarters, support, and marksman. These talents are like skills, but don't have to be activated. Instead, they provide passive bonus to things like ability cooldown and movement speed. On top of skills and talents, there are also perks. Perks are a little different than skills and talents as they apply passive bonuses to things such as increase the ability to hold more medkits or Dark Zone items. As a player, you also have access to consumables, such as incendiary or explosive rounds, which increase damage, and canned food or water, which modify health recovery or increase damage done to elite enemies, respectively. There are also lockpicks in the game, which help you get into, not surprisingly, locked rooms. Each player has access to a variety of weapons and are allowed to equip 2 primaries and a sidearm. These primaries can be anything you want, from a shotgun and a sniper rifle to 2 assault rifles and even 2 shotguns, and anything in between.
Alright, so how are players going to be able to acquire the gear necessary to complement these builds?
In The Division, there are missions that make up the main storyline that consists of 3 difficulties: normal, hard, and challenge mode. The harder the difficulty, the greater the chance of better rewards. It is interesting to note that the Dark Zone will not be the best place to get the best gear. Better gear can also be earned through PvE activities such as missions, encounters, etc. Players can also get loot inside the Dark Zone by killing enemies, though. Also, during a community podcast, it was stated that some of the best gear in the game you'll be able to get through crafting. This crafting system allows players to create attachments and weapons based off the materials they have recovered. Players will also have encounters and side quests that allow them to get better gear as well as material to develop their main base of operations.
So what kind of enemies will players be facing? Are there any factions that are in the game?
As you play, you will come across a wide variety of factions that are friendly and some not so friendly within the game, all competing for power within the city. Some want to control areas of the city, while others want to cleanse them of the virus. Based off of the beta and promotional videos, there seems to be a lot of diversity already to keep the engagements interesting. The first faction is the Strategic Homeland Division, or the Division, which is the faction that the character is a part of, along with every other player. The goal is to rebuild New York after the outbreak. There is important to note that some agents will put personal gain ahead of the cause in the Dark Zone, where they will go rogue in the hopes of stealing better gear. There is also the JTF, or Joint Task Force. The Joint Task Force is a friendly faction in the game. This faction is made up of New York City Police, Fire, and other emergency responders, along with the New York National Guard. These are the remnants of what used to be law and order in the city, and are going to lose control if the Division doesn't step in. There is also the Rikers Gang. Identified by their distinctive orange jumpsuits, the Rikers Gang is made up of escaped convicts in Rikers Island prison who are now loose in the city enjoying their newfound freedom, motivated by power and greed. Rioters are also found in the city. These are nothing more than criminals who, in the absence of any law and order, took advantage in an attempt to take control of the city. They survive by preying on the weak and roaming the city. There are also the Cleaners, which are identified by their love of fire and hazmat suits. The Cleaners set fire to the city in order to cleanse the city of the disease. This faction is made up of workers left behind after the virus hit and are attempting to cleanse the city as an act of revenge for losing their families or to make it safe for their families once again. The fifth and final faction in the game is the Last Man Battalion. This faction is made up of former soldiers that were part of private military contractors hired by Wall Street executives to protect their assets. When the outbreak worsened, they were stranded when their employers refused to pull them out. They now use their superior training and weapons as an attempt to take control.
Dentay, you and I both played the open and closed betas. What will some things returning players from the beta want to know about the changes Ubisoft has made to the Division so far?
For those who have played the betas, there are some notable changes between that and the final build. Contaminated zones will have 4 levels, requiring you to have appropriate mask level to survive. Your mask can be upgraded by completing medical missions and earning perks granting you better filters. Enemy NPC density and roaming capabilities in and out of the Dark Zone will be increased come the full game. The numbers were reduced for testing purposes in the beta. In the final game, there is also a new sorting system for inventory. As for Dark Zone vendors, in the beta they were given purple items. Purple items will not be as easy to obtain in the final game. The base of operations also sees some changes. The base of operations now has a Dark Zone vendor that will either let you buy Dark Zone gear or exchange regular orange credits to Dark Zone purple credits. It is important to note that even though the exchange is going to exist, a player still needs to acquire the necessary level to purchase and use Dark Zone gear. The appearance menu has also gotten an updated user interface. Microtransactions are also in the game, but in the form of Phoenix credits that will be used to purchase only cosmetics or emotes. One big change that has been seen from the open beta to the final game is that deployable turrets no longer target non-rogue players and don't damage neutral players caught in the line of fire. A link is provided below in the description to the full list of patch notes and a Reddit posting that pointed out a few of the observations made earlier.
I would also like to point out to the viewers that the developers seem committed to keeping the game fresh and addressing player complaints. From the beta to the final game, there have been multiple bug fixes and changes based on player suggestions. The developers have even stated that they are committed to weekly changes in the form of bug fixes or balancing as necessary. The developers have also recently released a video outlining their Year 1 plan, which is a good step to showing the players that they are committed to the game itself. Overall, the game seems very promising. Both of us have enjoyed the gunplay, and cooperative combat doesn't feel overly difficult, but still feels challenging at the higher levels. Now it is just a matter of time to see if the developers create an engaging story and give the game replayability. Before we end this discussion, I just wanted to add an extra note for those of you who do not know. There's a website called Uplay that allows players to spend credits to unlock gear to get free content based on games they already own. For example, in The Division, you get access to a special outfit if you played Rainbow Six Siege or played the beta. Uplay also allows you to spend these credits to unlock things such as Phoenix credits or other outfits and a gun skin. Gaining these credits is as easy as playing other Ubisoft games. Anyhow, thank you for everyone who has made it this far in our video. If you can't tell, we are both really excited for The Division. We wish all of you the best of luck once you've been activated. If any of you are looking to group up, take a look and feel free to join up at the whitelist at our the100.io page. The URL can be found in the description below. I'm Hoshaw, and thanks again for watching this whitelist discussion.